Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good night, and above all else, yes, that you're looking after yourselves and one another. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the fourth day of the 12 albums of Christmas, and I again have brought along with me for this adventure my two co-hosts and cohorts, Mr. Peter Frickin' Cottontail. I can't get used to that name, but that's what he looks like, Peter Frickin' Cottontail, otherwise known as Ken Cheshire. How's it going, Ken?
Going well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back, especially in that outfit. My goodness. And down below, as I see on my screen, Mr. Santa Claus or Saint Nicholas. How's it going, Jim?
Doing okay. Happy to be here.
Well, happy that you're here. Happy that you both are here. Ladies and gentlemen, again, as I said, we've arrived at the fourth day of the 12 albums of Christmas. Now, what we've done is each put together a list of 12 albums, Christmas themed, that we feel are albums that hold a special place in our heart, or we just enjoy or appreciate the musicality of these releases and the work that has been done on these releases. And we wanted to bring them to you. And if these are albums that you don't know of, possibly new music discovery for you, or if these are albums that you've listened to before but haven't heard in years, probably a rediscovery for you musically. So you know what? Sit back, have a drink, have a toke, smoke, whatever you do to get through the night and enjoy this episode. Now, as I look on my screen, I'm going to pass the virtual mic down to Mr. Santa Claus, Jim Bricker.
Hey, all right. So for our fourth day of Christmas, marching backward, um, I am kind of continuing the thread of yesterday, and I'm selecting another Windham Hill album. This one is a compilation of various artists, was released in 1996. It's called The Carols of Christmas, a Windham Hill collection. Now, there's some of your typical classical, obvious Windham Hill people who are on this release. George Winston, Will Ackerman, Michael Manring, Michael Hedges, Night Noise, and there's some other artists who are kind of in the adjacent Windham Hill universe that they worked with to participate on this record as well. Jim Brickman, no relation. Uh, Tracy and Thea Silverman, Richard Stoltzman, Tonina Horta, Steve Morse, Ray Lynch, Liz Story. So this is a pretty expansive list of people, and because it's such an expansive list, there's an awful broad set of styles that are on here. And like any good Christmas compilation, it kind of covers the wide breadth of Christmas songs that are out there. Do You Hear What I Hear? We Three Kings, Christmas Time Is Here, the Vince Guaraldi tune, Oh Little Town of Bethlehem, First Noel, Emmanuel, Carol of the Bells, Oh Holy Night, Silent Night. You get the idea. And the musical styles on here kind of go all over the place. The George Winston track, which is him doing the version of Christmas Time Is Here, is very true to the Vince Guaraldi edition, but with that a kind of a slower, more contemplative tempo. Um, David Darling does a version of Oh Holy Night, which is all synthesizers and cello. Um, you've got Michael Hedges doing What Child Is This, which is harp, guitar, recorder, whistle, and frame drum. That sounds like it's something that could have been found on kind of a twisted version of Songs from the Wood. Um,
Boy, okay.
Steve Morse and Manuel Barueco are doing acoustic guitar versions of Carol of the Bells. This is just a really, really good mix of a broad swath of tunes, and um, as I've said for a lot of these releases, it's pretty good for just about any type of gathering that you have, whether it's formal, informal, um, all age appropriate. Um, Something good to have in the background. I mean, there may be a few things on there that might make your grandparent go, "What is this?" Especially the Michael Hedges tune. But in general, it's a fantastic album that should appeal to all ages. Check it out. This may be a deep cut that y'all missed, like many Christmas albums. It's very hard to sort of keep your arms around everything. So I recommend checking out The Carols of Christmas, first released in 1996 on it's on most of the streaming platforms. I will say that the George Winston cover of Christmas Time is Here is left off of Spotify. Uh, so maybe
Probably
that
for
particular
licensing
tune couldn't
reasons.
get licensed. Yeah,
Probably licensing reasons. Yeah.
probably. But there you go. Carols of Christmas.
Okay. Interesting choice. Good choice. All right. Peter frickin' Cottontail. You're muted.
I debated whether to include this one or not. Um, this is probably the most eclectic selection on my list, but this is another one that holds a particular place in my heart. It's from 1994 by an eight-piece a cappella mixed ensemble from England called the Swingle Singers. And the album is called The Story of Christmas. Um, and it's 21 songs. It ranges from Renaissance to traditional to contemporary carols and songs. In addition to it being themed as a Christmas album, the title, The Story of Christmas, um, further tells of the way that the tracks are sequenced, in that it does kind of make tell a historical sequence of Christmas music. Jim, you had mentioned it in an earlier video, um, of what was the carol, about the
Holly oh, the
huh?
Coventry Carol. Coventry
Coventry
Carol?
Carol. Yeah. Coventry Carol. The Coventry Carol on this album is downright haunting. Um, I knew this group personally, um, in the mid to late 80s. And at the time, it was led by a gentleman named Jonathan Rathbone, who had graduated from Cambridge, and an excellent songwriter, but an especially excellent arranger. And his arrangement of Coventry Carol is just, like I said, it's haunting, you know, and it's one of these songs that I guess is considered in the Sturm und Drang, if I may use the German phrase, that the music matches the content of the lyrics and vice versa. So almost as if they were just singing la la la, you would kind of still get some of the same feelings from it. But you know, Coventry Carol is just an absolutely powerful song, and it's one of my favorite. And they do a version of the 12 Days of Christmas that's and actually you'd probably have to see the video on YouTube. It's just downright slapstick. You know, it's just absolutely amazing. So yeah, the 8 part, they and like I said, a cappella, no instruments. They do everything with the voices, um and if you didn't know they were doing it, you'd be hard to tell that they were doing all the sounds vocally. And whereas it is a studio recording, it's one of those groups that sounds exactly the same, if not better, live. So there's no magic studio, um, witchcraft going on here. The magic is in the singers and in these incredible arrangements. Um, this album may be difficult to find if someone were looking for it, but they have a few other Christmas albums out too
Mhm.
that I would recommend. But this is The Story of Christmas, released in 1994 by the Swingle Singers. Um, that was a very, I got to see them many times. And like I said, I developed a friendship with with the group at the time,
Mhm.
and was proud to call them my friends. So special place for number 4.
Very interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my pick for the fourth day of the 12 albums of Christmas. Can never say that in one go. Um, we are going to go off into, I guess you'd say, progressive metal arena. And we are going to go with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra with the release of the Lost Christmas Eve, released October of 04. This is the third in the 3 album trilogy. And I have right here, as I pick it up, one moment. We have here the complete set uh, of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra of the Christmas trilogies. You have all the 3 albums, plus you have a DVD performance of the Ghost of Christmas Eve, featuring such artists as Jewel on lead vocals for some of the songs. Now, the history of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, formed by songwriter producer Paul O'Neill, who unfortunately is no longer with us. He got together such artists as John Oliva, Robert Kinkle, and there's another artist that escapes my mind right now, who to form the core of the group of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And they've released, and they're actually touring in 2024 for the Christmas season. I do believe they're coming to Edmonton, actually. A concept album about an individual who basically leaves his child in an orphanage, and it gets a little convoluted in terms of the storyline. But fantastic album, 74 minutes plus in length, a lot of instrumentals. If you like a lot of heavy harmony, dual, double tracked harmony guitars in your Christmas music, beautiful. Okay, I do have to say that the instrumentals on this album, like the Wizards in Winter, do outshine the tracks with vocals on them. I've got to say. But the sentiment of the album is fantastic. It goes from hard rock to acoustic, instrumentals to jazz, and some spots. But you know what? It's an all round fantastic album. And as I look at my notes here, yeah, there are literally on this one album there are 23 songs, that make up the story of the Lost Christmas Eve. Uh, if you want something that's just a little bit off the beaten path, aside from Nat King Cole, Luther Vandross, and the other artists that we talked about on this series of episodes, please check it out. I'll show you again. I got this on Amazon for something like $28.99. So this was a good deal for the 4 CDs. And yeah, if you want something that's a little bit out of your wheelhouse, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve is one for you. You can get the CDs separately or in this 4-disc pack. And yeah, that is my pick for the 4th day of the 12 albums of Christmas. So there you
Rock
have it.
on.
Rock on. Oh, yes. Believe me, you have not heard it. You've heard them before.
Yep.
But for those of you who haven't heard of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, twin lead guitars doing Silent Night. I'm telling you, man, at number 12 on the amps, I'm telling you, it is pretty heavy. Okay. But it's harmonic, it is melodic, it is still good. So for those of you out there who, you know, want to chime in with your picks for the 4th day of the 12 albums of Christmas, please do so. Please put in the comments down below what your pick is for the 4th day. And again, no right or wrong answers and no judgment, just opinions, you know. So for Peter Frickin' Cottontail and Mr. Santa Claus down there, I am Armando, the lonely elf on the shelf, and we'll be back with the 3rd day of our 12 albums of Christmas. Please look after yourselves and one another. All right. Buon Natale a tutti, le famiglie, a tutti gli amici, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.